Hello, everyone. And today's kind of bonus video is we're going to address this kind of question here. So, on my Harvestella postgame and romance guide, I got this wonderful question here asking, is there any events after the postgame? And they gave the example of how Rune Factory, you still have festivals all year round. Is there a scheduled holiday or is this just an RPG game with farming just taped on top? And, you can see the back and forth here. I was like, no, there's no festivals or anything added in, you know. And that's the thing with Harvestella, that it's more the action JRPG with a little bit of the farming sim popped on. So this person was like, well, is this just that, or is there something more to it? Should I just look for another game? I said, hey, I let him know, hey, if you're looking for like festivals, detailed villagers, and the like, Harvestella's not the game for you. But then I realized a couple hours later, I didn't give them any actual recommendations. So that's what this video is going to be. We're going to look at some other games that, maybe they have the RPGs, elements to them. Maybe they're full on farm sims, but these are going to be games where you have more focus on the villagers, the people in town, the festivals that go on around, etc. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, and so we're going to get our start going with Rune Factory, the one that they brought up specifically. And as you can see, all these little holidays here, sections with the circles on them, are holidays or festivals. There's Valentine's Day over here, the eating contest, the handicraft contest, the tricky treats contest, White Day, Autumn Festival, and I can go to other months and you can see here's winter, the Snow Brawl, Christmas. And this one's a little bit earlier because this is a post game that I haven't done my winter yet, year one, you can see. But you can see all these other ones, the Buddy Battle, Buffa-Move, Harvest Festival, all of these different things throughout the year. And I'm in the post game in here, but I'm just not in year two because this is one I kind of rushed it a playthrough. But there's absolutely all year round. There's festivals going on all the time. Every single character, you have their birthdays, you learn who they are, what they like. There's certain characters, I don't have that many birthdays here not unlocked yet that I haven't figured out. Same with Winter, because I haven't gotten those far into them, I'm still on the 5th of Autumn in my first year on this playthrough. On other playthroughs, it's like, okay, I'm in my second year, and I know everyone's birthdays, but you learn all the birthdays of all the villagers as their birthday comes up. Either they'll tell you or someone else will tell you. There's more to this than just that, and you get the farming elements. We'll go out to the farm, and we'll actually even demonstrate here if it shows up the one performance issue that the Switch has. Like everybody complains about, oh my god, the Switch has horrible performance issues. I'm playing on the Switch. I love it. I love having the portability of it. Yeah, I could maybe play it on PC with my laptop, but, by the time that this goes live, I'll be on the truck. But you can see, okay, this is taking a few seconds to load in, and then there's all my trees that are loading in that I'm still growing. And they have levels. If I pull out a tool here, you can see crop level 3, crop level 3, crop level 1, 2. These ones take a long time to grow, so they're not as high level as some of the ones that I have up here, which we're hitting at the 8 to 10 range. You can build up the levels of your crops. You can work on, also, you can see all these seeds. There's the soil statistics over here on the side for all these crops. There's a level 10 one growing right there. These are some level 1s because these are newer. Level 5, level 10, level 9, level 8. And so you can see, you have all this stuff that you can, there's much more detail to the farming aspects of this. You have the relationships aspect, the village, etc. These are all things that people complain about with Harvestella, amongst with the price, because Harvestella focused more on the JRPG and the story and not as much on the farming and the life sim. So if you want the perfect hybrid, Rune Factory is where you go. This is 5. We also have 4 on the Switch. We're getting 3 special on the Switch later this year. It's either by the time this video goes live, it might be out in Japan by then. But we here in the West are expected to get it later this year. And then you got 1, 2, and 3 all on the DS, the original version of 4 on the 3DS. And you got Frontiers and Tides of Destiny on both the Wii. Both of them are on the Wii, and I forget which one is on the PS3. So I mean, these are older titles, but they all fit this niche of that perfect blend of RPG, in this case JRPG, and farming sim. They do put all of that emphasis on those. And that's why I think it was the first thing that this poster questioned about, is because it is so in depth. You get to know everybody in town. Even like the quote unquote nameless NPCs that you see around town have names. Let's see if we can find one out here. There's usually one running over here. Okay, wait, no, that's Scarlet. Yeah, I'm not seeing any running around. Oh, there we go. There's a seed agent, or a seed operative. And we talk to them. Dreamy Gaddy. This is a generic NPC who has her own name. Whereas you have characters in Harvestella who are named, just shows up as bartender. You learn through the course of a side quest he has a name, Leon Bishine, but he never gets that. He does have the whole portrait up here that she doesn't have, but other characters in this game do have. But they put all this emphasis in on the village, the people in this. And that's one of those things, the reasons that this is the game that this person came to and they recommended it. Moving on to our other options. I don't even need to say the name of this one. You hear the music and you know it right away. But for those who don't, Stardew Valley. I mean, again, you can see there's villagers, all have their birthdays in here. You got 2 have festivals every month. I'm on year 2 on this playthrough, but yeah, you can see everyone's got birthdays. There's relationships. You can get in depth on your social levels. Get to know everyone. Everyone has their various, especially the bachelors and the bachelorettes will have their heart events. Other characters will send you recipes and stuff in the mail as you get their hearts up, and it'll change their dialogue. They have seasonal dialogue. The combat aspects, not as strong in this one, the RPG side. You have a little bit with like your stuff here, and you can see combat's the old one I haven't quite maxed out at 10 yet on this playthrough. But yeah, you level up, you have all your little perks that you can pick at levels 5 and 10. There's so much to this game that, if this is what you're looking for, you want the more traditional farming sim with less of the RPG elements, yeah, this is a great one to go to. Of course, there's one more big name for farming farming sims without the RPG, and let's get to that one next. We talked Rune Factory, we talked Stardew Valley, but Story of Seasons. This is the inspiration for both of those games. Back when Story of Seasons was called Harvest Moon, we in the West got Rune Factory as a fantasy Harvest Moon as a subtitle for it. So, this is Friends of Mineral Town, but the entire franchise of the actual Story of Seasons franchise, all great if you really want to focus on the farming and relationship in the village side of things. We're getting a Wonderful Life later this year. So there's lots of great choices for this series as well. And, I can continue in here, and you can see I've got my little year 1 file, but it is what it is. If you want, other things on the Switch specifically to look into dealing with villagers and festivals going on year-round, almost monthly, etc., well, there's another big-name game that we can look at. If all you want is getting to know the villagers, having your monthly festivals and so on, seasonal festivals, you can't do bad with Animal Crossing. I got bored with the game over time, sure, but I'm near the late game. I'm well into the game. You can see my map down there in the bottom. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just means, hey, I was ready for something else. You have the villagers. They don't have quite as much, admittedly, in especially New Horizons. They don't quite have as much personality as they did in even earlier versions of this, or the individualized villagers of the previous games we talked about. But it's definitely an option if that's all you're looking for. If you don't want necessarily the farming side, you just want the cozy, the villagers, and the festivals and all that. you could do a lot worse than Animal Crossing. That said, we are getting a game later this year that looks to be a cross between Animal Crossing and, I would say, Rune Factory. And that game is A Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Eats Time. We've seen the demo for it. We don't know when we're getting it, but we are absolutely going to be getting it. And this looks like a great game. I can skip ahead in this video here. And you can see this looks absolutely like Animal Crossing very heavily, but it's got the combat aspects to it. It's got, all the different job classes they're showing off here shortly. So absolutely, there's more to this. If you want to have that bit of combat to it, that little like role-playing thing, you're gonna have different classes in this. You got carpenters and cooks, and you got your paladin or your warrior, your mercenary, and so on. So absolutely don't think that this game, I'm gonna keep my eyes out on this one. I'm gonna look at the rest of the series earlier on. But you can see, you can change all of these different classes. You can change on the fly. So if you want a little bit more RP elements to it, but you don't want the full-on Rune Factory with the farming and everything, maybe look into this one. Another game we can pick, if you either on Switch or PC, is the one we've been playing on stream lately. My Time at Portia and its sequel, My Time at Sandrock. Just looking at the calendar, you can see, okay, this is a multi-day festival here. This one looks like it's multi-day, but it's actually just like late night here and blends into the next morning over here. You got birthdays, you got relationships with all the villagers, and you get perks. You get to know them, and they'll give you perks, discounts on buying land, discounts in their shops. On this file, I've married Ginger, so I get, there's a little side quest thing. You get a mysterious gift here, and sometimes I'll get stipends from her father. You get combat benefits from these guys. It's got a story, it's got the villagers, but it's less of a focus on the farming so much as it is the crafting side of things. There is absolutely some farming in this game, but it's kind of enclosed to these specialty boxes. As soon as it finishes loading in here, you'll see I've got some trees out here. We demonstrated this on stream with actually my first tip video. I've got these bigger ones here specifically for trees. They have to grow in boxes in this one. And, we'll have smaller ones up here for small things like cotton and vegetables and flowers. So there's a little bit of farming, but it's absolutely more about the crafting and the building aspects. But, I mean, you saw I have a house, I've got a wife. We have everything. I've got animals. There's a lot of what's the farming thing here, but it is definitely more emphasis on the crafting side of things. Kind of like Stardew is more emphasis on the farming, but has the crafting. And Sandrock changes things up a lot. Definitely go look at my videos on those, on the tips and tricks for them. They talk a little bit about the differences between those. And yeah, so these are great games that we can do as well. And of course, I can't go without talking about Littlewood. It's such a fun, cozy game. It has the farming, the exploration. You know, I'm on day 39 here. You can name your town. I called it Caraxia. I'm the Corvus. You can come up with your own title. You're basically become mayor of your own town, and you build it up as you go. It's absolutely cozy. It's got the kind of farming side of things. It's not as detailed as some of these other games where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna go grow. Okay, I've got like my fruit trees here. These are my fruit trees. It's low graphics. I've got my crops over here. They regrow every year, so I can harvest those. Boom, boom. And that's it. And you only use up your energy for the day. The day goes by as you use your energy, as you can see up here. So it's a cozy game, and I can, go into my menu here, and I can go to build mode, and I can lower or destroy. Let's do that there. I can come over here and I can destroy this. You can terraform. They were talking about that for Animal Crossing. Well, you have that built in. That is the core thing that you unlock right at the start of this game. You don't have to worry about trying to unlock it. You can go through, you can go dilute that. You can, okay, I want to raise that back up. Boom. I can go back to building that back up. Whatever you want to do, you build your town the way you want. You have your farming, you have your villagers, you get to know all their names. This is after the big RPG journey has ended, and you are picking up the pieces. If that's what you want to do, there is like, I wouldn't even say combat. Like you have to avoid combat with the enemies in this. Like there'll be monsters that'll try and get you when you go into the forests or the mines. You can go take an air balloon to other parts of the world to gather more materials. And there's these little monsters here that'll come get you, and if they hit you, you kind of get wiped out. But talk to him. Okay, we'll go to the endless forest, for example, and come over here. And okay, I want to go do this one. And I'm in here. Okay, I can chop all these trees and all that. I can catch the bugs. But you can see there's this angry tree over here. If I let it hit me with its roots, but I can put it back to sleep. It's a cozy game. There's no real combat. You do have skills. You know, you got your townsfolk you've met. You can learn where your levels with them are. You've got all your skills for gathering, mining, wood cutting, bug catching, fishing, all of these kinds of things. So there's so much more you can do in this game if all you want is that side of thing. There are special little festivals. They're not huge and massive like that, but that's this game. It's just cozy. That is the best word. This is the most cozy game on this list, I would say. And of course, we have to end it off with Kinseed. You start out as a kid adopted from like the old Mother Hubbard's kid, kids in the shoe kind of thing. And you grow up and you have a life and you have tasks that you do. Uncle here, hey, go do what you need to do, deliver some old milk to old Mother Hubbard. Boom. And you grow up, you have all these questions, you get to have your little farm here that you're growing stuff. I've got these ones here. You got to take care of your crops. See, you water your crops. You take care of your food. You got to go, you know, leave offerings to the fairies every day. Leave them a blueberry so that they don't come and kind of curse you. You got to take care of your pigs, all that. And this is just in your childhood phase. As you get older, you get to buy at stores and run them. And I mean, you even have using dandelions as your clock for the day. This game is fantastic, absolutely worth having, and definitely worth a look if you want that more farm sim style aspect without as heavily on the RPG elements. Not to say that they're not here, but this one's definitely more, hey, let's take a look at, getting to know the people of the village and all that. Not quite as detailed with every single character as something that is as fully handcrafted as Stardew, but at the same time, it can't be because this game progresses time. Stardew, you are caught in a permanent loop of whatever season it is. Every spring is the same, every summer is the same, and so on. And the same goes for Rune Factory, with the exception of having kids in both of those games. Nothing drastically changes outside of what you do in the story. Kinseed, time progresses, things change, people grow old and die, you grow up, you have kids, your kids take over, and so on. It's very similar to some of the things that people love about Rune Factory 3, about Story of Seasons, A Wonderful Life. And yeah, it's got that kind of cutesy, sprite animation. It's very hand drawn kind of styles. that we love from Stardew Valley and Littlewood. And with that, those are just some of my suggestions off the top of my head for both Switch and PC. If you guys have more suggestions for games of this ilk that you want to see or you want to have a second video to talk about, let me know in the comments section below. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See ya!